Madam Speaker, the President of the United States.
Multiple continents.
You guys know what this represents?
All the people that have gone out there against the mainstream media and said, you're going to call us racist, you're going to call us potential Timothy McVeighs. You are.
Hey, let's see what's going on here. There we go. There I am. Welcome to PPN. Happy to have everyone, and I hope everyone had a good day, a good Memorial Day, and we got to, think about life's loss for the purpose of, our freedom And there is a lot of people that are in that situation. You know, I was talking to Matt earlier, you know, about the problems with suicide, the problems with death in the military, the problems with PTSD, and they're real problems, real issues that, in my opinion, the people that, you know, have been in charge have not been addressing. And, you know, kind of like keeping people sick. You know, I've watched people, you know, baby boomers that, let's say, were in Vietnam, man, you know, that Agent Orange, the pesticides that they threw all over everyone. I mean, just beat them up, you know. Quality of life, you know. So be thinking about them when you say your prayers, you know. Be thinking about, you know, everything that's gone on for our freedom. And, you know, one of those deals, you know, say not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. You know, what can you do for your fellow man, for your family, for your friends, you know, because we are having to lead this battle. This is a different battle than there's really ever been when it comes to the way it's being fought. Now, all battles have had psychological warfare. You know, all battles have been kinetic. We've seen a little bit of both. The kinetic has not been on our soil yet, but is it coming? You know, in the background, we hear things about dirty bombs and terrorists and things like that. And hey, that is part of what we're going through. You know, this is spiritual warfare. Spiritual warfare, and we're fighting a bunch of Luciferian globalists, you know, that have been all around us. They call it the hidden hand, you know, hidden in plain sight, where it took a lot of people a long time to even see it. A lot of people started waking up, you know, when the Fall of the Cabal came out, you know, when certain people came on stage. I think Charlie Ward opened up a lot of people's eyes. You know, I think he really did. I think he did a really good job. Everyone kind of, you know, Uncle Charlie, or, you know, he's like a daddy to a lot of people, you know, and I think that's perfect. You know, he woke so many up, you know, helped us along the way. You know, we were just out here, you know, saying, hey, there's a problem. Everybody's got to understand it. Now, once somebody comes to see our show or whatever, PPN, they're probably understanding a little bit about what's going on, or some really, you know, understood. But then when you get in groups and you're like, wow, other people are saying the same thing I'm thinking, it's an eye opener. You know, you're like, whoo, this is true. And it is true. We've got a hidden society, a secret society that literally are hiding right in front of your faces on your TVs, in mainstream media, amongst us, and in our political and political associations, and in our big pharma. You know, it's amazing, you know, that we're doing as good as we're doing. They've been trying to control every facet of our life, you know, introducing chaos anytime they can. So I believe that we owe it to people that have passed away. I know there's a lot of daddies and granddaddies that we've lost that, you know, if they saw what was going on right now, they'd say, hey, what's going on? Come on now. We got to get in this battle. We got to get in there. A different mindset in some cases that I personally think we probably need to go back to, you know. Maybe, I don't know if we've gotten complacent over the years or whatever, but that you have woken up. I call it wakey time. If you have woken up to what's going on, then kudos to you. You know, kudos to you. You have done good. And what we're doing is we're trying to get in where we fit in. We're trying to get to where we can go to work. We can help in some possible way. It doesn't have to be something big, but how can we help? You know, that's a thing that, you know, I think humanitarians ask, you know, how can I help animals? How can I help the sick? How can I help this? How can I help that? You know, it's a thing, you know, and you don't do it because you want somebody to praise you. You do it because it needs to be done. And maybe nobody else is doing it. So I hope that after this is all said and done, nobody misses the chance to get involved. And I hope that people will kind of like be proud of the work that they've done, you know, and say, "Ooh, I did that." You know, I don't want to thank you. I'm proud of it, you know. I hope people are happy with the person that they are or they've become, you know, and the differences that we've made in somebody's life or in a bunch of people's lives or in one person's life. I don't guess it really all matters. You know, it doesn't matter how much you do. It matters that you're doing something, even that you want to do something and be involved is a really, really good thing. I say we keep that up. You know, we have a plan, so we stick to it. I mean, I don't really care what the naysayers say. You know, I don't care what I call them Karens. I think everybody does, but I know some Karens, so I don't mean that like every Karen. You know what I mean? The Dems. You know, I don't care what they say. You know, I don't care what the rhinos have to say. It's all a bunch of gibberish. The uniparty. You know, it's amazing how they can have Democrats and Republicans, but really, if you look at it in the background, it's like 5, 6 different parties, and they're all fighting us, the ones that believe in the Lord. That's daunting. That's pretty serious, you know. So we take it serious, which means when we say things, we need to have good evidence that what we're saying is true. Because if you say something, you know, that doesn't quite G-haul, doesn't quite work, you know, you are ostracized. You know, they want to make fun of you. Say none of that stuff you're saying because you miss one little thing, you know. And I've seen me do it, so I'm sure some other people have done it. So that's why we prepare and we study. And all you out there know that you are studying day in and day out, probably more than you studied in college or school, or I know I am. I mean, I got so many different ways to study, and I didn't know how to study in high school. You know, I didn't know what I was doing. I was partying, I was playing. But this is real to me. This is serious to me, and it deserves serious attention. It deserves serious people. Not that we need to all be serious all the time, because I'm the last one to be serious all the time. But it needs to have good, sound leadership that know the plan, the full plan. I'm not worried about the full plan. I have to trust in the Lord that, because I don't know that plan. But my plan is to put like-minded people together that love the Lord, that understand there's an issue, a major issue, and that are willing to do what it takes to fight that issue against Luciferian globalists from all over, not just our country, but from all countries. Now, I can't go over there and fight them, you know. I can't go over there and hit them with some stick or, you know, I can't do a lot. But what I can do is I can bring that out to people that, hey, this is what's going on, you know, that this is what's happening. This is how we're playing it right. We're doing right. Get people information so they know what's going on, true information to the best of your ability, and hope that they can use that information to either wake someone else up, to raise up numbers, just strictly wake somebody up in general so that there's not so much infighting inside families, because that hurts, that hurts. But we have plans. We are patriots. We're patriots. We're not ran by a Luciferian government. We do not let the Luciferian media come into our minds without us knowing, spewing out hatred towards our own team. We're on the same team. It doesn't really matter how we get up that hill. If we're going to the same place, you can go around the back and come up. You can zigzag up the front. I don't care. But don't hurt the movement. Don't hurt the movement. If you're confused, ask somebody. Figure out what's going on. Listen to the right people. Use your discernment. Hopefully by now, most people have gotten to where they understand. They've practiced using their discernment. They've watched enough videos of whatever you call folks, truthers or pod neckers, I don't care. You've watched people and you've graded them to say, okay, that person's saying something and it either makes sense or it works out that, what they're saying happens or comes close. Sometimes even, hey, it's not totally opposite. You know what I mean? Because this is a changing world at every second. If America would have ever fallen, remember, it would have been from within our own government. But that would be with the help of a lot of other people involved. That would be getting people like you and me involved, not knowing, spewing trash against our own team. For them to do that, they would have to have enough people in the background that are compromised to get ready for that time, people set in place to pounce and start putting disinformation out there. And they did that. They've done that. They even threw, what can I say without a plague, maybe I don't get kicked off something for saying plague. I don't know. I don't even care if I get kicked off. Rain on them. The storm is here, in my opinion. When you see all of the stuff going on, and Juan said it the other day, he said, when you see the stuff going on with Ivanka Trump, her, and when you see Trump racing home to take care of his family, when you see so much chaos around the world and stuff going on with Iran and stuff going on with Israel, which are tentacles of the Luciferian family of 13, the Committee of 300, the Club of Rome, just tentacles off of it, all doing their same, the main job, all in cahoots with each other and being ran by the 13 there at the top of that pyramid, which are ran by Lucifer. It's a big fight. It's a serious fight. And I like to play. I like to have a good time, but I like to be serious when it's time to be serious. Memorial Day is a time to be serious. When you know that people have had loved ones, you yourself might have had loved ones that served in the military that have lost their lives. That's huge. That's huge. Giving your life for someone else. That's love right there. That's love. That's a big deal. But it's not just giving their lives and having passed away. There's a lot of people that gave their lives not knowing it and fell into drugs and alcohol and fell into what was put on them, PTSD. So I would just tell everyone tonight or tomorrow or the next day or whenever you feel groggy, it might be good to reach out to someone that you think has had an issue with any of those things or any other issue, doesn't matter, and just say, "What's up? Hey, I was thinking about you," because they're seeing everything you're seeing, maybe more vividly. Maybe they're not. Maybe they don't know why they're feeling what they're feeling, but they've seen killings all over the place. They've seen rapes. They've seen chaos in the streets. They've seen these fires. They've seen the plague. They've seen bombs going off in different countries. They've seen everything you have. And because of maybe military background, because of different things, places they've been, things they've seen, maybe they don't take it as good as you do. You don't know what you don't know. That they watched the Obama administration do everything they did. They were probably following rules that they were like, what in the world's going on? Everything we're doing is hurting and not helping. Some of them might not have seen that, and some of them might not have been happening. But I guarantee you that some really bad things have gone on in the military to us, to our men and women that serve, and to other countries. We have been nasty. And there's a lot of people that see that and don't understand why they're following the orders that they're following. And it's because a bunch of Jesuits got into places like the Pentagon, Luciferians. It's bad. That's why I think I've been telling, especially Talk Time so much, y'all, we're fixing to have a purge. And this purge is going to be out in front of the whole world for everybody to see. And it's going to be big. And it's going to be serious. Now, I'm proud of you, Talk Time, because everything that keeps coming down the line, you're just like, okay, we knew that was going to happen. Let's go to the next thing. Let's go to the next thing. And you're waiting for that to happen patiently. And you're keeping each other up. And you're loving on each other. And that's what that place is for. We'll have a lot more coming, Everybody that goes to Patriot Shoot, you can get really good information without getting kicked off and things like that. You can get in state chat. You can get in those groups, Being around like-minded people is extremely important for what we have going on. And I'm very proud of the people that are respecting that, who are taking in the truth and letting the garbage go out over there somewhere and not even worrying about it, There's going to be people that just turn on a dime and just think that you're supposed to turn because they turn. That's not the way it goes. Not when you're following, in my opinion, who you're following. I'm following the Lord. I'm following my intuition. I'm following what I hope is some decent common sense. And I pray for anyone that can't see the overall goal and the plan. The plan is not to disrupt, not to create chaos. The plan is to be a good person, to speak to people in a good manner, to walk through life, not give me, but giving when you can. we have come a long way. We've come a long way, and we're prepared, and we've got our gear on. You know, we're ready for the battle, and our gear, you know, in some cases, for some people, it might be a bug out bag, you know, a way to defend yourself, and some people it might be your phone with information where you can give it to somebody real quick that you say that is waking up. And I urge you, whenever you do that, to have the right information for that particular person. There's going to be a different thing that wakes everyone up. Everyone's not going to wake up because of what woke you up. I guess if the same thing woke everybody up, we'd all be the same, and it'd be a boring place. Or I don't know. But there's a fight going on. If you don't know, ask somebody. There's a fight going on. And we're right in the middle of that fight. And we're doing different things that we think in our hearts that will help that fight. We're talking to our sheriffs. We're getting them to know our sheriffs. Now, I know a lot of people say, when I've said that, oh, no, we can't talk to our sheriff. They're compromised. Well, how do you know they're compromised? Somebody told me they're compromised. Know who your sheriff is. At least know their names. You know, do your own checking on that. There might be some that, I'm not saying everybody, but there might be some that are hiding in wait for some support. There might be some that might, even if you talk to them, might, you know, shoo you away because they don't know who you are. You know, there's a lot of people doing small humanitarian projects, you know, things that don't take a lot of money because we're waiting on a better tomorrow. We're waiting on blessings that are going to come. The Jubilee's coming up. I believe the Jubilee will be big, the start of something big. Watch out for expectations when you hear those things. Guard your heart. Through this whole thing, that's kind of what I've had on my mind is I don't want to pump everybody up, you know, that something's going to happen tomorrow. Something's going to happen Thursday. Because I think the worst thing, or one of the worst things around me and in my world that has happened through this movement has been goofballs telling everybody, oh, this RV is going to happen tomorrow. Oh, this thing's going to happen tomorrow. Well, let me ask you something. Have you seen the freaking new system come out yet? No. That it's not coming out freaking tomorrow. But there's other good blessings that are coming before that. Now, if somebody says it's coming out tomorrow and they just happen to, on accident, because they're an idiot, be talking to a cabal member that's telling them that that's infiltrated and said, hey, I got all this great information. You ought to hear this. It's happening Thursday. Oh, this guy out of Zurich. Oh, Lord. Then shame on them if they don't know it by now. If you haven't developed the discernment to figure that out, then dadgum, shut up. Oh, here I go, my shut up again. I'm sorry. I got in trouble last time. Don't get me started trying to stay calm. All that's coming. But we're in a fight for our lives, for our heritage, for our world, because we don't want, there's this little thing called a one world government, and that's a no, 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 no. And then we have God's world that is good and prosperous and healing and really good things going on. And I want the second one. I want the one with God in it. I don't want somebody choosing what's going on. So the war of all wars ever is happening now. So it's taken a little time. Sorry about that. When you have to fight the Marxist, communist in our FBI and CIA and our police departments and not ours, but the CDC and the WHO and every other agency there is, it takes a little time. Now, the New World Order, just so you know, it wants to destroy America. It wants to give it all to China. All the manufacturing, all the jobs, all the this, all the oil, all the everything. And this dude, that's like an employee of God, it seems like, is stopping that. He's fighting them. And if you can see it, then good job. You're understanding what's going on, and that Donald J. Trump, our president, is doing a absolutely remarkable job fighting these sinister, freaking satanic Luciferian globalists that are no good. They are trying to kill you. You know that plague? They put that on you. You know those wars? They were on both sides. One brother's on one side and one brother's on the other side. Let's say the Rothschilds, you know. And they're making it happen, you know, going over and saying, hey, man, the South said this about you, North. He's going to get you. He's mad. And they go over to the North and say, hey, man, that's South, man. You ought to hear what they're saying about you. They instigate it, and they're stirring the pot, you know, making things happen around that looks like the North and South should fight. And then the North and South start fighting. And then they sell both of them food and guns and weapons and all that stuff. And they watch them beat each other up and kill each other and have all these crazy things. And then they come and say, hey, why are y'all fighting, man? Let me help y'all. Look, y'all signed this agreement and we'll help you. We'll refinance everything. And all of that, getting everybody in the fight, was just so they could get us on the books owing money. And take down the United States and turn it into a one world government and send illegals everywhere to change the foundation of everything. Pretty good plan, and it was working until this dude named Donald Trump stepped in. He'd been with us about 3 years. Let's call it 3 terms. Might have a 4th. We'll see what happens. We will see what happens. I believe there's a chance that midterms could be postponed because of something. I believe there's a chance that a lot of people that we think have passed away could be alive and fighting behind the scenes. I believe that, I don't know who. I ain't seen them. I ain't had a cold beer with them or nothing. But I believe there's a very good possibility. You know who I'm talking about. This is a wild world. It's crazy. So if you've hung in there and you stayed sane, and you're actually helping keep other people sane, and you're traveling around and spreading the news, doesn't matter if you tell somebody that the cabal is doing this and the bad people are doing that or whatever. Doesn't matter if you tell them everything about the cabal or if you tell them about the Lord. You're doing your wakey time. One of our jobs is improving our relationship with God and leading others to have a relationship with. That never changes. That's a constant. Hadn't always been a constant for me. I've always loved the Lord, but I wasn't the one to talk about it much. Now I would talk about how many cold beers we're gonna have Friday night and Saturday night. Some reason, somehow, during all this stuff, things got serious. Some kind of changed, and I'm cool with it. I'm enjoying whatever this change is. I'm with it. Now, there's been a lot of people that have had some really bad luck and had deaths in their families and things, had sickness in their families and things, and I sympathize like crazy. And I want to help them mentally. I want to help them physically. I want to help them any way I can. And try to reach out to people, and you just keep on. You keep on hoping that someday something's going to get in their head and they're going to understand that big pharma isn't always the answer, that maybe some of these holistic things are worth looking into, studying. Of course, anything you ever see out there that somebody's promoting or selling or whatever's going on, you should do your own research. We've got these things called minds, that we can study that stuff and say, does this make sense? Does this make sense? Just whatever you do, watch out about taking all the vitamin D in the world, because it'll get you if you do it for 3 or 4 years. I know that because that's what I did. So when you're taking all these different things, make sure that they work with each other. And sometimes when you take a lot of different stuff, are you sure it's not fighting something that's going on with you? I would just say, do your research, Watch out about adding all these different things whenever you find out about an illness. A friend of mine who passed away, I talked to her in depth about that. First time I'm talking about it, but she said, Warren, be sure when you talk about these things, make sure people are doing their research and maybe not adding so many things at one time when they find out, let's say they got cancer or they got diabetes or they got this or that, but controlling it. That's why I like to send people to Coach Scott, because I know that it can be controlled, that you're getting what you need. I have to go to the doctor every, I don't know how long it is because I take Adderall. Been taking it since I was 12, since it came out. Retlin's what it was called. And really, that's the only reason I go to the doctor, really, But I listen to what they say. I let them say, you got to go get a shot or you got to do this or that. And I just politely say, well, I got that under control. Everything's good. But I tell you what, I needed them when I took all that vitamin D. So there's a time and place for everything. Don't let anybody talk you out of, doing what you think is best. A lot of smart people. One big thing is that sometimes when you have an issue and you're the one that tells everybody what they can do to help themselves during, a flu or a sickness or something, but then when it happens to you, you're like just sitting there like, well, what do I need to do? Sometimes you need a team, a good team to say, oh, hey, why don't you do this or that or this? And you say, oh, why didn't I think of that? Because you couldn't. You're sick. You're having a hard time. If you're in a group, I would say, hey, and I always talk about mama bears, Talk to some of those mama bears. They'll point you in the right direction, and then do your own research and make sure you're doing what's best for you and what's going to help you. Watch out about just adding everything in the world because this person said it, oh, this stuff's good, Well, it is for a certain circumstance, for a certain thing, There's a fight going on, and we have to be responsible for what we're doing. Kind of like new information comes out, whether it's about big pharma or holistic medicine or let's say, information that we've heard in the past that might not have come from the right place. I have to be responsible to understand that somebody could have lied about something, or I could have been wrong about something, or I could have heard something wrong. You know, somebody said something right and I heard something totally different, or it's on purpose. Somebody feeding something. So when new information comes down the line that you can verify, it'd be good to take that into account, that things can change, that, you know, when there's a plan and the plan involves number one, and then number two's got 15 different ways you can win, depending on what your opponent does, things could change, you know. It's just what happens. So being responsible for ourselves, whether it's physically, mentally, whatever, is really important. There's a fight going on. There is a fight for our lives and our children's lives and our parents' lives and our friends' lives going on right now. It's a serious situation, and we need serious people doing everything they can. And sometimes that might be taking care of yourself, not taking care of anybody, even though you want to. You know, some of the people out there, let's say some of the older generation are out there, they know what to do. And if they weren't feeling like they were, they'd probably be running circles around some of us. I mean, circles. I mean, doing stuff before you can even think about it. Because they were raised where we're going to work. We're doing this. And then there's some right below the baby boomers, let's say, that are, you know, you can see them, the ones that at the family reunion, they're always working, they're planning, they're calling everybody. They're picking up after everybody, working. And they might just like to work, or they might have watched their mama do it forever and said, I don't want my mother having to do that. I'm going to, every time I go to the family get together or whatever, I'm going to clean up. Then I'm going to sit down and I don't want nobody talking to me, whatever, you know. Maybe they just do that all the time. That's how that baby boomer generation is. They know what to do. I'm going to tell you what, listen to them. They might not be able to do everything that we can physically or mentally or whatever, but I tell you what, they're worth listening to. You can learn a lot by shutting your mouth and listening. I'll tell you right now, this fight has become, there's a lot of stuff going on. A lot of stuff can go on in the streets. Watch those women. Watch your back and somebody else's back. When you're going into a store and you see some knucklehead, some idiot, some Luciferian dude watching a mama and her babies, let them know. That's my responsibility. You know, if you ain't doing nothing and you got eyes and you can drive, you could save some folks. You could be a lookout if you wanted to. I don't know. If you ain't got nothing to do and you got a little money, you could be the person that gives Constitution books out to everybody. The man that gives them Constitution books out. What's his name? I don't know his name, but he gives everybody Constitution books. I don't know. The little Bibles, you know, give him little Bibles to say. There's all kind of things we can do. You know, you can do anything you want to. You can go sit at a grocery store and take back every older person's buggy you want to. You can do anything you want to. A lot of things that you can do. When you're doing it, I'd say have the right information, you know. Let the Lord tell you what information's right, or find somebody that's getting stuff right, you know. Nothing's all the way done yet. There's still a lot of work to be done. They need to hurt Trump. They need for Trump to be gone. They need for him to have some issues. They need to cause chaos. And those little tentacles coming off of the 13 families and the 300, they're constantly doing little things. And they're causing other people that are truthers, that are patriots, to do things that doesn't make any sense. That's a bad thing. It's bad. Don't let somebody lead you astray. You know, if you're out hanging out with your buddies and some guy wants to do something that makes no sense at all, and you're going to get in trouble, you're going to get hurt, you're going to get arrested or something, then don't do that. It's as simple as that. You don't have to go around along with a crowd, but at the same time, sometimes if the crowd makes more sense, then you hang out with the crowd. Might be hard to understand, but use your discernment and don't let anybody just say, oh, this is what's going on. This is what's truth. This is what the facts are. Because some people like to exaggerate. And some people like to say things that they're a little bit right, but not quite, which change the whole dynamic of whatever subject. And then some people just want to lie. The goal is to not let them lie to you. And you do that by asking yourself, does that make, if I say something, does that make any freaking sense? Is that person someone that I could trust? Is that somebody that, you know, has been right at least a couple of times? Judge it for yourself. Just because I love President Trump doesn't mean he's not going to make a mistake. And I'm with him, but I can call him out if I need to. That's cool. MAGA is bigger than Trump. Trump's big dog. I can't find, you know, anybody that's doing any more. That dude works. And I put a lot into somebody that works. I put a lot of confidence in somebody that just works, you know. It's a big job. And he's got a lot of naysayers, you know. Got a lot of people fighting him, a lot of Luciferian people fighting him. He's got a lot of naysayers. He's got a lot of Karens. He's got a lot of freaking crazy people fighting him every day. And the last thing I'm going to do is start pointing out a bunch of bull that's a lie anyways. I'm in the game. I'm going to fight the best I can. Hope everybody else does too. I hope everybody understands what's happened in the past, because it's a good way of telling what's going to happen in the future. You know, I use this information to hopefully enlighten myself, become better the next day and the next day, even though I'm going to mess up probably tomorrow a couple times, but I'm going to keep getting better or trying to. I'm going to learn the information. I'm going to be ready to get it out to people the best I can. But I think it's really time for everybody. Everybody needs to pick a team. You know, pick a freaking team and stay on it. Either stay in or get the hell out. You know, we got a possible Black Swan event coming up pretty soon. We got some crazy things coming up. We're going to need each other. We might have an EBS and an EAS and an Yo Mama S. I don't know what they're all called, but there ain't no telling what's going to go on. And we're going to be all right because the Lord is not going to forsake us. We're going to be all right. The plan is working. Knowing who you're fighting and who you're fighting with. I mean, I want to know who I'm fighting against and who I'm fighting with. I want to know as much about the ones I'm fighting against as I do the people that I'm fighting with. It's on my team. Because they're telling me they're on their team, my team, and they're not on my team, then rain on them fools, you know? Nothing's going to sway me from what I think is right. I'm not expecting to sway. I'm not expecting to sway anybody either way. But I guarantee you can't talk me in to a bunch of bullshit. I hear it way too much. So, anybody that wants to talk their bullshit can go straight to hell, as far as I'm concerned. I don't care who you are. Don't care. I'm going to act right. I'm going to fly right. I'm going to do the best I can, and I'm going to mess up. I expect everyone to do their best. And if you don't, we make teams so that when somebody falters, that we can pick it up and we can keep on going, because we're in a serious fight and it deserves serious people and not somebody talking a bunch of bullshit. Hope everybody has a great rest of the evening. Hope that everyone was able to recognize Memorial Day as you see fit. Hope everybody's safe, sound. Big stuff's fixing to happen. It's not going to let up. There might be a pause. Just remember, during this thing, there's going to be some pauses. Don't let it bother you. Don't let it, if a weekend ends on some bad news or news that you call bad, it's all, if bad news comes out, it had to come out. It needed to come out. There's a reason for it. That's the way I'm looking at it. It's all going to be okay. Get with your groups. Love on your groups. Other groups, hanging out with other groups is a good thing. Just like the coalitions did. And I saw some big things happening. We're all going to the same place. It doesn't matter which way you go. Don't act a fool. Don't slow somebody else's progress. But if we're all going the same place, if we love the Lord, problems going to happen. Let some crap go. Let stuff go. Chill out. Work with each other. Don't work against each other. Communicate good. If you don't know how to communicate, learn how to communicate. If you talk too much, learn how to not talk too much. I don't know. Do your thing. It'll be okay. We're all going to be good. Stay with the Lord. He will not forsake you. Get that stuff better. Rock and roll. Have a great evening. Thanks so much. We'd love for you to come hang out with us at join.patriotsuit.com. And if you do, come see me in Talk Time. We'd love to see you. Just don't come in there talking no bull. Come in there and we'll love on you and you love on us. Thanks. Have a good evening and bye.